Welcome back. This is episode number 374 of the Healthy Diabetic Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Ken Kniss. Join me, as always, is my good friend and partner in crime, T1D, Graham Hubbard. We are two type 1s with almost 50 years of diabetes experience, and we hope to encourage and empower you to think differently about how you are managing this condition. Before we get started, please remember that nothing that you hear on this podcast you consider medical advice or otherwise. Please always consult your medical team before making any changes to your diabetes management. Graham, my man, how you doing? It's been a hot second. You've been out for a week or so.
Yeah.
We did some solo episodes. I did some solo episodes last week, which have gone very, very well. And yeah, I'm excited to jump back on and chat with you and get this rocking and rolling, man.
Well, I'm probably going to say something and it's probably going to stay on this the whole time because it's absolutely wild. You know, I've been on Ozempic, prescribed for type 1 at the lowest level for 7 weeks. There is no taking care of your blood sugar anymore, bro. Like, there is no, let me say this again. There is no taking care of your blood sugar anymore. And get ready. My basal, I'm taking 3 units twice a day and I'm still fighting that.
What do you mean you're fighting it?
Like, I'm probably going to go down. I probably got to maybe do like 2 in the morning, 3 at night. I'll take, bro. So last night I was 209 and I just took basal. Took 3 units of basal. I eventually went low from my 3 units of basal because I was at, well, and it is side story. If you've ever been to Florida and say, how the fuck do people live there? That's what it is right now. It's that like 100-degree, like heat walls, man.
Yeah.
So, but dude, I'm speechless. And I mean, Ken, at this rate, 1 vial is going to last me 4 months, 5 months. So even if you had to pay it out of pocket, that's not that bad, bro. You know? And now it's funny. I keep talking to my wife.
I want to say, here's the one thing I was just going to say, like, this is the one thing I would say about this, right? First, I think it's great that you feel like you don't have to really manage your blood sugar because you're getting support from this GLP-1. But I also want everyone that's listening to this to hear this specific and very important thing. I would say that it's mostly because Graham doesn't even take that much insulin in the first place. And he's on this very short eating window, right? So he's dosing the meals or food that he's dosing for is in this like really small freaking window because he's intermittent fasting because that's what he's chose to do, right? So his window of eating is from 6 to 10 gram, right? Is that correct?
That's what we kind of, yeah. We talked about that at length. Yeah, about 6 to 10.
It's about 6 to 10. So that's a very small eating window. So you're only having to dose in that window in the first place. Outside of like, you know, you go high for whatever reason because you're doing something and cortisol, stress, whatever makes you go up. Maybe you have to take a small little dose. But Graham takes such little insulin in the first place. So to say like, where we don't have to manage blood sugars at all, I would say that that's probably not the case if you're on a GLP-1 because I have talked to other people that are on GLP-1s that still have to take a good amount of insulin. Like it's not completely taking over for all of their dosing strategies they're still having to think about diabetes sometimes, where Graham is in a very unique position because he doesn't take a lot of insulin anyway. So that's the great thing about what Graham's going through right now is like he's able to take this medication and allow himself to not have to really dose that much.
Okay. So it's crazy. And I knew you were going to say this and I actually had to write them down.
Yeah.
And I keep telling my wife this. It is the chicken or the egg. So there are 3 major facts that happened long before the Ozempic. And you know all of them. I started splitting my basal, which I had a lot of success with. I gave up CGMs and I don't see myself looking back. And then for most importantly, I have a new endocrinologist with new ideas, new ways of thinking, a new level of understanding of the disease and everything. So it is like a funny chicken or the egg right now. So, but you know, planets are aligning, bro.
Hmm.
And the thought was minimize. Okay, either minimize the amount of insulin you're taking or become, have like I do, have a hypersensitivity. Dude, there is no correcting a 200 right now. That's another reason why I'm thinking of
Yeah, but how long does it
continuing
take
to
you to
get my
come back
basal.
down? How long did it take you does it take you to come back down? Because if you're talking 6 hours, it's a completely different story.
Wait, to come back down from what?
If you are let's just say you have a 200, or even go back to the scenario that you were talking about earlier where you were high and it made you go low because you didn't because of whatever,
It
because your basal and
doesn't.
the medications. How
Great
long does it
question.
take?
Great question. If you were 200 and you just were refusing to take Humalog because you knew you were going to go low, by the time I'm taking the next dose of basal, that's bringing me back down to where I want to be.
No, no, no. So, okay, so I'm just saying, like, if you're 200, okay, and you're taking your
I
night basal, right? Does that take
Correct.
all day to come back down, all night to come back down, or is that coming back down in 3 hours? That is 2 totally different things.
Okay. Well, normally, if I was 200, I would correct with my
Correct.
bolus,
Correct.
and then
With
I would
your
take my base. As of right now, bro, it's a shit show. And I'll take 2 units of each, and my body is just I'll be low all night, man. Like
but you're so
it's crazy.
here's yeah, okay. So in the grand scheme of things, you shouldn't be taking Humalog in that thought process, right? What I'm trying to ask you is take the Humalog out of the equation because you're not taking it. In
Correct.
this
I know what you're
scenario, you're
asking.
not taking it. So, but I'm trying to understand what is the time frame that it's coming down? Because if
Three
it's
hours,
coming,
three
it,
hours, not 6 hours, 3 hours.
okay, but it's not because of the basal. It's because of something else.
Yeah.
Because the
Well,
basal does not drop you like that. It's basal's not going to drop you in 3 hours. It's just not. That's not what it's designed to do.
so
So the
so
question becomes, do you still have insulin on board from correcting from the food that you ate previously? Whether that was an hour ago, 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago, whatever that is. Do you still have that insulin in the background bringing you down? And that's actually why you are actually going low,
yeah.
right? You're not
I
correcting for
think
that 200. I get it. That's what I'm trying to
I
understand.
think the answer is a compliment to you, and you've gone on record saying this plenty that at some point you do need to have some carbohydrates. As an example, we went out for Thai food last night. Thai food, and all I had was chicken satay, which is chicken on a stick, calamari, and then they had crispy fried duck. I was just annihilating all these proteins, but having a Thai meal, and it was amazing, But and then I think I stacked that meal after meal, and then I don't end up having a carbohydrate, and there's probably not enough sustenance in the meal, right? Like
Maybe. I mean, you're
for
eating
me to
tons
go
of
to bed.
protein. You're eating tons of
Yeah.
protein like that you don't want to have a lot
Well,
of carbohydrates at night in the first place because then you're dealing with spikes, right? So maybe the insulin that you have on board, if you're taking any insulin to cover for from the Thai food, if you are, maybe that's still in your system and that's why you're going low. I don't know. I'd have to like kind of look
yeah.
at again, you don't have a CGM graph, so I can't look at your CGM graph. So there's so many
So
different things of why you're
here's
spiking and then
yeah.
you're at 200 then coming back down. I mean, there's so many things that could
Here's
be
a great
happening.
example. If I was like last night, say I went into dinner at 180, but I just ate protein, but a couple other things had like sweet and sour sauce. Something had like a curry sauce, and Thai food kind of like they'll use like coconut milk because then that has. So those like little things will then bring you up. So you didn't take any insulin at that dinner. Like you're right. You'll be at 250,
because of the
And then you got a
protein.
decision to make. You got a decision to make because you now owe the evening basal, and are you willing to take some type of correction and risk it? And as of right now,
But again, the basal's not going to drop you. The basal's not designed for that.
it
It's
shouldn't,
not.
bro. That's what I'm telling you. It works like crazy, man.
It works like crazy because you have 3 different mechanisms going on at the same time. You've got your basal, you've got your Ozempic, and you have any other insulin
Eh,
on board from
so,
your Humalog.
and
So
that's
it's not
exactly
the
that.
basal. That's not the basal that's bringing you down. It's a
Sure,
combination
sure,
of maybe the 3 of
sure.
them.
Yeah,
And
you're
you know what I
100%
mean?
right. Yeah,
Right? You know what I mean?
you're right.
So
I didn't think of it that. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. Yeah.
so you have to think of those 3 mechanisms that are
Mm,
happening on top of you not having a lot of carbohydrate or sugar on board.
hmm.
Right? So your Ozempic, the basal, and whatever insulin that you have on board from the meal is counteracting the protein, which thinking about it now, no wonder that you're going low
Mm-mm.
because you have 3
I'm
mechanisms
only
working.
going low. I'm only going low with like a correction or
But I thought you said you went low without taking anything and you just took your basal.
sure. I did, but I think that was like an achievable, easier low. A fig bar.
Okay.
If
So
I correct and I go about my day, it just happened. I mean, I was low 6 times, unwarranted, 6 different lows. Just kept going and going and going.
yeah, so it might be Ozempic is too much, or it might be that the
Just
basal's too
crazy.
much, or you're
Yeah.
taking too much you need to change your insulin to carb ratio
Yeah. I mean,
and make your insulin to carb ratio higher. So if you're taking a unit, then you should only like 2 units or whatever as an example, then maybe you take 1 in that
is
scenario.
is there
Because
is there not a is there not a side you have at all that's sitting here like this is awesome to hear like this shit's working?
I think it's amazing that shit's
Oh, okay,
working.
cool, cool,
No, no,
cool,
no, I
cool.
said that at the very beginning. I said that at the very beginning that it's amazing that it's working like that. The difference is like the lows, because we wanna avoid the lows, whether it's an actual low that you're able it's not debilitating or if it's a severe low, right? We wanna
Yeah.
avoid those scenarios. And what I was trying to understand from this conversation was, it's not the basal, so is it the Ozempic or do you actually have, insulin on board from the meal still of why you're going low at night?
This is
Right?
and
And this is the reason I say this. I'm gonna give you an example. And again, we're 2 different people. Our
yeah.
systems work completely different, but this is why I'm saying this. I was camping over the weekend. For the
Oh,
first
where'd you go?
48 we went to one of the Jellystone parks in, here in Ohio up north or whatever.
Yeah.
Really cool site, I mean, really cool place. It's super open. So it was really cool. It sucked. It rained most of the time, but whatever. That's what happens when you camp. But
Ohio. That's
the
Ohio.
reason I bring this up, okay? And again, everybody who's listening, me and Graham are 2 different people. Our systems respond to insulin and other mechanisms in 2 different ways, but this is why I don't think it's the basal. I didn't take basal for 48 hours. I didn't give myself a basal injection when I was there for
Yeah,
48 hours
yeah. Me
just to
too.
see what would happen. And
Yeah, me too.
I still woke up under between 100 and
Huh.
120 every single day. I didn't wake up low. I didn't wake up high. I wasn't high. I think I had a low one time during that process, but it, I was managing my diabetes solely on Limjev, on fast acting insulin, just correcting for the meals. Like I wasn't eating in excess of what I usually do. My carbohydrate ratio wasn't totally different than I usually consume every single day. Like if you're talking about the total carbohydrates that you're consuming every single day. So I don't think in your scenario it's the basal that's bringing you low. I think it's either a combination of the 3 or it's a combination of Ozempic working in the background with your bolus Humalog insulin.
What I was gonna say earlier, the wild thing though with diabetes is you'll never know because A, we're in a heat wave, and like I said, it
Yeah.
is a wall of heat, and B, you know my work and you know some stories of things that's been going, so
a bunch of stress,
I'm
man.
not
Yeah, one
stressed.
hundred
I
percent.
will say this, I'm not stressed at all. Like, I'm not stressed. I am not.
Okay, so you're not stressed. So stress is
No,
not the
no.
not one of
Well,
the
you know,
variables.
I meet people that meet me and then they're like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?" Like, I mean, I'm always this way, right? So, like, and I'm always thinking and planning and worrying and executing and shit. But
Yeah.
hey, I want to ask you something else. This is gonna be solely random and out of left field, but another story. Have you ever picked up a hobby knowing that it would benefit your diabetes in some way or your health in some way? Like truly said, you know what, I'm gonna start doing X. And I'll tell you my thing if you don't have an answer.
Have I ever picked up a hobby that benefited diabetes? Okay, here's my counter question here.
Okay.
Are we asking this question in the context of I picked up a hobby because it was going to um with my diabetes, or I just picked up a hobby and it ended up helping my
Uh,
diabetes?
More that it was going like it would be like an experiment to see if it would be like you
So
knew it's
the
like you go ahead.
so I am picking up this hobby because I want more support in my diabetes
Sure,
management.
sure.
Okay, then I would say no.
Okay, let me hit you with mine.
Okay.
Gardening. Gardening.
A hobby of gardening that you are
No,
doing gardening because you want it to help because you know it can help you.
dude,
And
absolutely. Eating, dude. I am on a mission. I am on this hell-bent mission to eat my own salsa. Yo, dude, you love salsa, like,
yeah,
and it's so easy when it comes down to it. So I did potted plants outside. So
yeah,
I'm having a little fun. I'm starting with potted plants. I think the next thing will be hydroponic because I do a lot of just like, basils and cilantros and like lettuce and carrots and why the heck not, dude? And, not only is it hydroponics cool because it'd be inside, so you're breathing better air, but it's you just walk out and get your own cilantro or whatever. So,
yeah. There's Here's my question because I have no idea.
okay.
If you're growing things like cilantro,
Mhm.
does cilantro thrive in the heat?
I mean, it's a good question, dude. Like, okay, and excuse me if I'm wrong, people might yell at me. The biggest difference is the soil.
Okay.
We have it is all sand for us. Like we have to
Yeah.
essentially like the cool thing about the potted plants and like I got jalapeno, Tabasco, those are peppers, and then tomatoes. It's like fucking thriving. It's amazing. It's doing
Yeah,
well,
and
but the
it could be
it's
the
because
soil and the heat though,
no, it's because the
because it's the same
entire
with
potted
avocados.
hold on, hear me out. The entire potted plant is potting soil. Like I got that
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
good
yeah.
shit, and like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
water it, and I put on like all the things. So I'm taking really, really good care of the soil. That's the fun thing about if you don't know about like a hydroponic, it's instead of it sitting in the roots are dangling with water dripping over it, and it just
Mhm.
I think it matches my personality better. I think it keeps the food safer. I am worried that like, I don't have those types of animals that could eat it, but, it's fun as I'll be honest, like, it's fun as shit,
Yeah,
man,
that's
like,
cool.
if you do it in a way that matches your personality and it's not overwhelming, like I said, someone challenged me, he's like, "Just make your own salsa." I
Yeah,
was like,
I mean, I think that's awesome, man. Like, it's my
"Mhm."
only question was, like, things like avocado, like, avocados are native to the South because of the heat,
Yeah,
right? We don't
bro,
grow avocados in the northern part of the
so
US because they can't thrive. So that's why I was
fantastic
wondering about cilantro.
fantastic question. Avocados grow on a tree. That is a
Yeah.
massive, massive bucket list for me and my wife. It's either we love lime, like, we always have lime, and
See?
you can have
Yeah.
citrus trees like crazy, and so
Yeah.
I would like to do that. I would like to
That'd
do
be
that
cool to
too,
have
but
to I'm sure you can just go get some seeds at the local store down
oh,
there
yeah, dude, you can do
and
anything.
grow avocados just like you do anything
It
else.
in a oh, I'm getting a horrible leg cramp. In that holistic, simplistic way that everybody kinda tells you in your life, it's exactly right, like, maybe I just had to turn another chicken or the egg. Maybe I just had to turn 40, like, everything is like, like, things do change when you turn 40, just look at things a little bit differently, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I worry about those things when it comes to diabetes and whatnot, but as I did say, I sure consume a lot of protein, and I don't really have a I don't really have a roundabout I don't know, I don't have a roundabout way, like, I can grow all my own vegetables and shit till the cows come home, but where am I gonna get,
We're gonna get
protein's
what?
a hard one, man. Huh?
Yeah, it is hard because you only have 2 options. Really, you only have 2 options with protein. Either you are going to do animal-based protein, whether it's synthetic and you're
Mm,
getting like whey or whatever, or like whey isolate,
mhm,
whatever it is, like in making a smoothie or using that in water, whatever it is. Either you're doing that or getting like animal actual based protein that has been, the animal's been killed and you've got protein from the grocery store or whatever. Or so that's one way. Or you do all vegetable or all plant-based proteins.
yeah,
Right? And you're doing plant-based proteins, hypothetically, you can grow all your own protein, but you have to eat a crap load of plant-based proteins
have you
to
ever
get the
considered
adequate amount of protein.
have you ever considered being a vegetarian?
No, I've never considered being a vegetarian. Now, here's my thing that I will say about this. The way that meat, the way things are being processed, the way things are being from, whether it's being you slaughter the animal,
Yeah,
You harvest
oh, yeah,
everything, it goes through the
true.
refinery process, it gets to the grocery store, then you cook it, and it gets to your mouth, right? That's a
Yeah,
lot of hands,
yeah,
a lot of human touch points, as we call it. I mean, obviously, it's going through the refinery and going through the factory, there's not a lot of actual human hands, but
mhm,
that's a lot that meat has to go through to get from the animal to your mouth. When you're
mhm,
eating plant-based proteins, the amount of human hands, the amount of process I guess I'm not even using that word properly. The amount of processing it has to go through is limited when you're doing
yeah,
plant-based. So, you can make the argument that plant-based is gonna be more organic, more natural, better for your system
uh-huh,
than maybe doing animal-based proteins. Here's my caveat to that. From what I understand about the specific amino acids, is what we're talking about when we're talking about protein. The amino acids from plant based compared to animal based is not the same. You get more amino acids per gram from animal based, which means you have to eat way more protein or way more plant based protein
mhm,
to get the same amount of protein. Right.
yeah,
So that's the caveat to this. Now, when you're looking at quality versus quantity, that's a hard pill to swallow. Me personally, I just love animal-based proteins. I love chicken, I love beef, I love pork, I love
I'm just
steak, I love it all. Like, I love it all. So,
bro,
I will go and get animal-based proteins all day long before I would go do plant-based. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't do plant-based proteins. 100% I still do
mhm,
legumes and beans and all the plant-based proteins. I still do all that stuff. But if someone's gonna say to me is like, "Am I gonna be a vegetarian or a vegan?" No, I'm not gonna be just that. I might be primarily that. I might wanna go primarily vegan or whatever. Like, if I had a sensitivity for some reason to beef and chicken, I'm like, "Oh god, I gotta switch." I would totally do it, but now in my life, I don't feel like I get this crazy sensitivity to chicken or beef, which is my primary source of animal-based proteins is those 2, beef and protein or beef and chicken. So, to answer your question,
um,
no, I've never decided to do that, and at my current stage in life, I wouldn't do that right now. Not saying it's a bad thing, it's just, like,
uh,
it's hard to get
I am
the
one of
protein
those,
that you
I
need.
just like you, I'm one of those that tout how much I love animal meats, but, like, I'll tell you what messed my brain up, grow something successfully in your garden, man, like, it's changing me, it's like
100%,
it just
man,
makes so,
100%.
let me quickly ask you a question. What do you think about, people who, like, raise a calf and then
Yeah,
have a cow, like, you get a freezer for the you get
yeah,
an extra freezer for the garage. How do you feel about
yeah.
that? Like
I mean, it's just like people doing that for deers. I mean, there's people that will
What
hunt
but
deer
but
and
is it
harvest all the deer meat.
is is that meat as subject to all the things that it would be if I went to Kroger?
No, God, no, because you're doing it yourself. You're not putting like the
Oh,
meat
I
that
didn't
you're
say
getting.
I'm doing it myself, bro.
What are you
You
saying?
know, there's farmers that will be like, "Yeah, come
100.
like."
I would get my it. I would if 100%. I would get all of my meat from a local farmer
Mm,
before I would go to the grocery store.
mm,
If I had the ability or the
yeah,
option to do that, which I'm
okay,
sure I do in Columbus, but you got to search that shit
mhm,
out. Right? I gotta go up to Amish country, drive an hour, 45 minutes, whatever it might be, to get to Amish country or get to that farmer and, like, get all the meat, right? Which
yeah.
is why there's companies that do that, where they'll do, like, kill to they'll freeze the meat, and then you just order what you want, right? There's companies that 100% do that. Like, I but it's also really expensive to do that too. Way more expensive than it is to get it at the grocery store because it's a whole food type idea where you get your food at the grocery store, whether it's organic, whether it's, grass fed, whether it's free range, whatever it is, like it's still more expensive to do it through the grocery store.
I mean, let's put it bluntly. My only real obstacle is that they won't let me have chicken coops. Because if I can have chicken coops, I'd have
Mm.
eggs and, like,
Yeah, yeah.
that would be sweet, but, in a
If I
neighborhood
didn't
with
live in a
HO
neighborhood, yeah, if I didn't live in a neighborhood, that'd be the first
yeah,
thing that I would have. Thing, like, if we're talking about, like, I live with on land and I can do that stuff,
mhm.
I would do chicken coop first. I would do chicken to get my eggs first, and then the second thing I'd probably do is we probably would do goats because that's gonna eat up a lot of
I
g the grass and eat up a lot of the insects and
I would want
chickens
a
are really
fish
good for
farm.
ticks too, I think.
You know what I said? Fish farm.
Oh, yeah.
You ever seen
Yeah,
fish
yeah.
farming?
Yeah, where they're just constantly throwing stuff in there and that stuff the ecosystem of that
Yeah.
pond or that whatever you have just keeps growing and growing different types of fish. Yeah, 100%. That'd be cool.
Uh, what about you? What's new?
What's new with me? I
Yeah,
mean
what's up with your diabetes and shit like that?
I mean,
You still
diabetes is
diabetic?
I'm still diabetic. Diabetes is going really well outside of hiccups occasionally here and there. Diabetes is
Mhm.
going well. Like I always say, like I'll have 2, 3, maybe 4 months as you can hear my low alarms going
Oh,
off.
wait. Let's take a second. Let's take a second. That is exactly the shit that drove me insane.
Okay, so
Do
here I'm
not
gonna
interrupt my do not interrupt my life because some bullshit that you think about me.
okay,
Some
so here's the
notification.
perspective, right?
Some
This is great that we're
ass
talking about
notification
this.
about my blood sugar.
We have a completely different perspective on this, right? Because you let
I'm
that
gonna
shit
join a
get to you.
study. I'm gonna write a
Hold on, let me
paper.
talk about this. Let me talk about this, right? You're letting that shit like get to you, right? That alarm, a low alarm just went off on my phone. What did I do? I
I'm
literally
being
set it to the
funny, bro.
side. Okay, well, but
Relax.
you're making a decision. You made a decision. The low alarms and the alarms is part of your decision on why to stop doing a CGM, which is
I
fine. That you have the
know.
ability to
So
do that.
says Ken.
But
So
I'm just
says Ken.
saying, but dude, come on, hold on, man. Like this is a very serious thing because you're making a very important point to why people get pissed off about having diabetes. And I'm trying to flip the script on all that bullshit and say like why are you allowing that shit to run your thought process. I like it just went it dude, it just went off. I set my phone to the side. I'm not giving it a second thought because of 2 reasons. The first reason is that number is not correct. It says 59 coming down. There's no way I'm 59 right now. I just put on a new CGM 2 days ago. I'm still going through the first 24 to 72 hours of like it not being 100% accurate. So every time that I wanted to look at my blood sugar, I would look at it and either it was really high or it was, you know, a number that I was like, okay, maybe that's correct. So what did I do? Every single time I looked at it and didn't think that was correct, what I do? I went and tested my blood sugar and it was off by 60, 50 plus milligrams per deciliter. So I made a decision based off of the finger prick, and then I went about my day. I didn't give it another thought. I wasn't pissed off about it. I literally went about my day. And that's what I literally just did right now. It says 59 going down, and I'm just like, "No, it's not. Cool. I'm going about my day. I'll deal with it later." That's completely different than allowing it to take on the next 2, 3, 4 minutes and being pissed off about it. Just walk away from it. Deal with it if you need to deal with it,
Ca
and then just walk away from it. Go.
can I give you a real answer?
Absolutely. What a real answer to what? I didn't ask a
Whether
question.
to your question, whether you like it or not, whether anybody thinks this sounds sane or not, my real answer that I hate, despise, will never understand the CGM environment is when it is you cannot change certain things.
What can you not change? I don't
Like
understand what you can't change.
there is a final boss of whether it's Libra, whether it's Dexcom. And listen, hear me out.
I'm
The first
listening.
time I saw it, the first time I saw that, I said to myself, we'll see how this goes. Like, I do not like that. And I said, we'll see how this product goes. And that always was an issue for me. And then when the product sucked, then I was like, good, like it's a double whammy for me. So, and that did matter. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I am trying to be the complete opposite of that. I'm 40. I remember a time without phones, without internet, without being
Cool.
controlled by that shit. So I'm not going to
But
sign up. I'm not gonna sign
you're
up to be,
allowing that to control you, which is fine. You are allowing it to
bro.
control
This is
you,
the answer,
and you
but
made
this
a
is not that. This
decision.
is my answer.
Graham, you made a decision, and I've never said that it was the wrong decision for you. I told you before when we
Well,
had
you
an
get
hour and a
riled
half
up and I have an
conversation about
opinion.
this.
You get riled up and I have a negative opinion. You get riled up and I have a negative opinion.
I'd never said that. I never said
You
anything
just
about
get
your
riled up
opinion.
about my negative opinion.
No, I said what I feel. I didn't say your feelings was wrong. I said what I
I,
feel.
I, I,
You are taking it that I'm
I
getting
am
on you
shocked.
for not being on a CGM, and I'm
Okay.
not doing that. Here, you can hear it again. I'm gonna walk away from it. I'm literally
I am a
walking
bit
away from
shocked.
it. I don't care.
I, I guess I could do the research. I am shocked that there is not more outcry about that from
There is
people.
tons of, you don't
But
have to do the research, I will tell you right now. There's tons of outcry about it. There's tons of outcry
mhm,
about the alarms. There's tons of outcry about it. But here's the difference. You can control the alarms because you can change the numbers. That's one thing.
well, that's
And
okay.
two, you can control the alarms because you can reduce the amount of times that the alarms are going off by having a good quality management style.
I would disagree in that you missed the most important thing, and it's something we've always talked about. It is changing the way people think of diabetes. Like I would have dreamed of a CGM as a parent. Like fuck anything that it came with. I'd have been like, thank God I can see I have
Yeah.
active like it. So that is why I mean, I can't believe I'm going to admit this, but like, it's why I sit here and poke the bear and tease and like, at the end of the day, like I do get it. I don't like the business models of either the company, but cause
It's a business model. I don't know what you mean. I still to
I'm
this day
a,
don't know what you mean by that.
it's shit. What's the word? I'm like I don't know. I have high standards and they're probably ridiculous to some people, but
It's but it's okay that you have those standards. We all have those standards. It's just how much you're gonna let those standards dictate how you feel about something, and you have a high, high standard about it. I have a standard about it
who-
too, which it needs to be accurate, but I also understand because of where we are with the technology, it's not always gonna be accurate, and there's so many factors that are gonna make
mhm.
it not accurate. You putting it in
So,
a specific spot and it goes in the wrong way, or the needle bends, or it goes into a tissue and you're putting it into a specific place, whether it's abdomen, tricep, whatever it is, of some place that has a lot of scar tissue and that it can't get through the tissue. Like that's a factor. There's just like we have factors and variables with managing diabetes and taking insulin, there's factors and variables that are going to make your CGM not be 100%
yeah.
accurate. But that doesn't mean that we can't be pissed off about it. We can 100% be pissed off
So
about it.
just, this is cool because you said, and you said something that a lot of very like mentally well people say. It happened and I just moved on. I can't let shit go, bro. Like my brain
Okay,
is
well
not,
then
it's it then I'm like, oh shit, is my CGM fucked up? Oh, blah blah blah. Then am I gonna go low? Blah, blah, blah. And then it's in the day, this and it just worked me up and I just, you
so you
know,
found a different way. You found a
I'm
different
not
way to
wired.
cope, and that's important. But you found a different way to cope with it, which was get
Yeah.
off
It came as a
CGM.
surprise though. What a crazy thing, like, right?
What? That you went off
Like
CGM?
I never in a million years realized I never in a million years realized how much of a mental peace of mind it's given me. How much of like it's felt like a mental success. It's been a, you know, like an aha mental moment. You know?
Because you gave it so much fuel, and again, that's fine, it's okay that you give
So
it so
yeah,
much
yeah,
fuel.
100%. I did give it. Yeah, I
Right?
gave it
You
fuel.
gave it a
Yeah,
lot of fuel, which is the same thing that I
yeah.
literally talk to when I'm coaching someone that is in the same position that you are, that they have so much
Hmm.
anxiety about the thought process of everything that goes into managing diabetes. That's what we have to get at first, right? And if it comes down to it, which we've had this conversation on multiple occasions for the last 6
Yeah,
years that we've known each other, if it comes down to the option, the best solution is to just to get the fuck off of the technology, then get the fuck off the technology, which is what you
yeah.
did. Which is what I've given ever since you told me that you did this, I've given you high praise about it. But what I'm not gonna sit here and do to all the people that are listening to these conversations is agree with
Yeah.
you that that was the
I,
only option.
I I never asked you to agree with me. I laughed when
I
your
know,
fucking face went off. I said I get you.
I'm just telling you my opinion, and it's okay to have these opinions. It's okay for me
Mhm.
not to agree with you. It's okay for well, and well, hold on,
What?
let me restate this. Let me restate this because I need to restate this because I don't want people to because people have listened to the
Mhm.
previous episodes. I don't want people to
Nah,
sit.
call
I
the ambulance.
don't call the ambulance. I don't want people to sit here and say like, but you did agree with them because I did because it was the right decision for you. That's how I agreed with you. But I'm
Sure,
not going
sure,
to
sure.
agree that every single person should do that, right? Because it's not the right for every single person. It's not right for me. I would never get off a CGM, even though I'm getting this alarm saying that I'm low, and
Uh,
before we even pressed record, I had the stupid low LOU, which means that you're not getting a signal, right? It's not an accurate signal. So I know that this
what do you have?
59 and
Do you
low
have? What do you
is
have?
not correct.
XCOM?
What?
EG6?
G7.
EG6?
G7.
15-day?
No, not the 15-day. The 10-day.
Mhm. They haven't officially rolled that. That's not like their primary product yet.
The 15-day?
Like I figured that's like they'll work themselves up to the point that'll be their.
Well, it's one of their products, but you have to remember that people are stuck in their ways. People are still I would say when I went to diabetes camp, I would say that I'm gonna be destroyed for this comment, but I don't even care.
No, it's okay.
This
I
is
love
my
this.
opinion of what I saw. I would
Okay.
say close to 50% of people are still in the G6 of these kids that are at this camp. That's a mind-blowing thing to me
Okay.
because I don't think the G6
Okay.
is I think the G7 is way better than the G6, personally. But I think
Wait. So what's
so many people are still on the G6. So
okay?
to answer your question, or to answer your statement from earlier, you made a statement of saying that you would think that Dexcom's putting a lot of time and energy into the 15-day because that's the new thing. It's not necessarily it because so many people are stuck in their ways. I've got multiple clients that are still on the Omnipod Dash, which is the DYI, because they don't want to go to the Omnipod 5 because they feel like they have more control in their diabetes on the Dash.
Yeah.
I can't even believe that the Dash is still a thing. And because you can't be on the
I
Dash on the
mean,
G7, so you have to be on the G6. So
bro, how
it's
long have
all
I?
of these different things about what you want to do and what you don't want to do.
I think I've been on Humalog for 2.5 decades.
And that's fine. Who cares?
No, I'm just
That
saying,
works.
like, decades, bro.
Yeah, which Lemjev and Fias is better than Humalog and Novolog because it works faster. But people are still on Humalog and Novolog, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's what you want to do. What do you have in place and your management that works best for you? And then on the other side of that, not even on the other side, it's like the other step of that would be, do you want to make a different adjustment? Do you want to experiment with something else? I was bold and wanted to experiment with a Frezza because I wanted to get away from not having to every single time pre-bolus for 15 plus minutes. I wanted to get away from it. So I tried a Frezza and it worked really well. It allowed me to not have to pre-bolus all the freaking time. But I've had my issues with the Frezza too.
Which I do want to tell people, if you're listening and you're learning, here's something plain and simple. I just would have quit. I've told Ken this to his face 1,000 times. I would have just quit pre-bolusing, and I guarantee you it would have worked successfully for me. But Ken was not of that. Ken is just not of that belief. That's not how he is wired, and that is the cool and fun part about diabetes, you know. So,
but it does work for you, correct? Not pre-bolusing. It does work. It does work for you, not pre-bolusing.
That's what I mean. Yeah, correct.
But here's the thing, Graham, and I love you for this. What?
Success or failure? Success or failure?
No, you not pre-bolusing right now. No, hold on. I don't want to. We'll come back to a Frezza. This is important. This is a very important thing. You using Humalog right now, okay, and not pre-bolusing because you don't really pre-bolus. It's working for you, correct? Not pre-bolusing. It's working for you, correct? Here's my caveat to that. Here's my thing to that. It's because you don't have to take that much insulin. If you are eating tons of carbohydrates, like me, I eat tons of freaking carbohydrates. If you are eating tons of high glycemic load carbohydrates, which means it's going to hit you, and it's going to hit you hard when it breaks down into sugar. If you were doing that, you would have to pre-bolus. There would be no getting around it being on Humalog.
Sure.
You can get around it just like I'm getting around it using a Frezza. You can get around it because you don't eat a lot of high glycemic carbohydrates. You don't eat tons of carbohydrates throughout the day because your eating window is super small. So you don't have to worry about having this crazy pre-bolus. You're not eating crazy tons of pasta. You're not eating tons of pizza. You're not eating high glycemic foods. You're not eating things that require 7, 8, 9, 10 units of insulin at a time. So you don't have to do a lot of pre-bolusing. Does that make sense?
According to you, I'm doing all this hard work, but it's not. It's just the factors. It's in the environmental factors that are actually.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
It's not me. It's not me to blame. Ken is saying I shouldn't be congratulated.
You should be congratulated because you should 100% be congratulated because you have figured out what works for you.
We've had some car conversations with my wife, and like, for instance, when I told her how much insulin you took, how different it, I was explaining. I was like, Ken, for instance, who's Ken Roll is I'm sure you love this and hate this. It's always easy to use it as a comparison because you're fit and a gym guy and all that shit.
But that doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with it. The gym piece,
I'm just saying,
is a very small
she was
part
like,
of it.
Holy shit, that's crazy. That's crazy amount of. But yeah, and I think you're right. My life. Hold on, and don't argue it against this. Is just what I'm saying. Like, if I had your job, yeah, I think I would be eating a lot more, consuming more calories because you're always on your feet. You're always doing stuff, dude. You are,
But that hasn't, again,
your job, your life requires.
Okay. My life does not require, but my life does not require me to eat a crap load of carbohydrates and take a lot of insulin. That's just the way I enjoy eating food. So the exercise piece has nothing to do with it. And I would also argue, going back to Diabetes Confessions, the series that I just dropped, if you haven't listened to the previous episode, go listen to it. Here's my diabetes confession. I don't exercise every freaking day. I haven't exercised.
Oh my god.
Today was the first time I actually physically exercised in 5 days because I was camping.
Why are you
I
so
didn't go run the
why
way I
is
wanted. I didn't go do a run like the way I wanted to when I was camping. So the
we're
exercise piece doesn't matter. It's just an added bonus because it increases insulin sensitivity and has a lot of other benefits to your overall health. But the exercise piece doesn't matter.
hey, because we're wrapping up and having some fun, in in 2 minutes, because I ask this all the time, what is exercise?
It's movement. It is movement
So
with
so if
intention.
even breaking down a campsite, like, if you're moving for an hour, you're moving for 2 hours, like,
That's
is that
technically
exercise?
considered exercise. But when I talk about
Okay,
exercise, I'm talking about exercise with intention. Exercise with
okay,
intention. Coming from the 4 quadrants: strength training, low intensity exercise, high intensity hit exercise, and recovery and rest and recovery. That's
mhm,
if you're intentionally doing something from one or multiple of those quadrants, then you're exercising. If you're
okay.
just going
Say
for
it
a
again,
walk,
say it again, say it
so
again.
quadrant one's strength training, resistance training.
Strength,
Quadrant two
yeah.
is low intensity exercise, low intensity movement. Quadrant three is
What
high
the fuck is
intensity.
that?
Quadrant four is rest and recovery.
Okay, so my point is that any type of
If you're
movement is technically exercise.
any type of it's with intention, dude. It's with intention. You going and taking your
Okay,
dog for a walk and not elevating your heart rate or not your heart rate's not like getting up to like past zone 1, you can make an argument that it's not technically exercise because you're not stressing the system in the way that you need to stress the
well,
system. Now, if you're going out for a light jog or like you're taking your dogs for a walk, but you're actually jogging, that's a different story. If I'm
dude,
just going for a walk around the block, I do this sometimes. If I go around the go around the block and walk and recording myself doing a reel or for something for social media, I would not consider that exercise. I'm still
mm,
walking, but I'm not walking with intention of actually getting cardio cardiovascular exercise.
yeah,
If I go jog around the block and I'm trying to make a reel, yes, that's exercise because I'm going to be huffing and puffing as I'm trying to talk.
wow. So
But
even
if
if I
I
okay,
walk around
so
the block, if I'm just going for a light walk around the block because I'm walking and stopping with the dog or my kids, I'm walking and stopping. I would not consider that exercise. It's still good for your cardiovascular system. It's still good for your system. That's not going to have the impact on insulin sensitivity as it would as you go jog around the block, or you go do resistance training, or you go take a HIIT class, or you go do a Pilates class, or you go do a yoga class, or you go do a
mhm,
meditation class, or you go do something and get stretched. That's not going to have the same intention on your system that if you just walk your dog around the block. Not saying you shouldn't do that.
uh,
I'm not saying it's not good for
you
you. I'm just saying it's not this. I don't think that's exercise. Does that make sense?
you
It's
think
a very fine line,
yes,
and everyone's got their own idea of what
okay,
exercise actually is. Yes, 100%.
got it. You'd be very proud of the dogs are here with me. It's so hot and they're chomping at the bit though, so I'll get up sometimes at like 5 AM, and right outside my neighborhood, there's a hill. So I just start and it's like by the time I get to the top of the hill, it's maybe an eighth of a mile, but that is such a good workout, and then we go down, and then we do the same thing. We come back and, like, that's a non-existent workout, and I am pouring sweat. I'm pouring sweat from something like that, you know? So
Yeah, and here's the thing to this, and not even a caveat. The other thing, we had this conversation about sweating and like, is sweating like good for like, is that like
sure.
good for your heart rate or whatever, right? So here's the other caveat. You're pouring sweat for two different reasons. You're pouring sweat because your heart rate's increasing, going up and down,
Mhm.
or it's coming up to a specific point and staying there. But you are also sweating profusely because your body is trying to cool itself down, as we've talked about before. Your body's trying to cool itself down because it's so flippin' hot outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so you're sweating
Yeah.
profusely because of 2 different reasons.
You're okay. In a survival situation, you would last a lot longer in heat than cold. And
Probably, yes. Probably, yes. If you have access to
like
water. If you have access to water, you would not survive
no,
longer.
hypothermia would kill you in a matter of hours, wouldn't it?
Correct. You would technically you would survive longer in the heat than the cold, but you still would not survive that long. You could survive longer in the heat if you have access to
Yeah.
water.
It's essentially dehydration versus hypothermia.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good talk. I gotta go. See you on
Okay.
Wednesday, though. This was great.
This is good. This is good. Man, we get off on some tangents. We didn't even get to, like, some of the things I
Yeah, I
wanted to
kinda
talk
knew,
about.
but it's
It's
nice if
alright.
we don't see I haven't talked to you for, like when it's like that, like, when it hits that, like, 9-day mark, then it's like, it's on, so
Yeah. I really hope that, I wanna say this last piece to all of you that are listening, and I really, really want you to consider doing this. I would love it if you sent me a message on Instagram, on TikTok, wherever, an email, whatever platform that you're on. Heck, if you're listening on Spotify or you're watching on Spotify, because Spotify is now video, I believe it's video now. And
oh, cool.
or if you're on YouTube watching this, just comment on this episode. I really wanna know if you enjoy these conversations, 1, and 2, I really wanna know if you like it when Graham and I go back and forth and bicker, and if you enjoy or like us going off in crazy tangents. Because if you don't, then we need to make a change on how we're communicating and talking in these episodes.
Maybe
Or
not.
I just need
Maybe not.
to drop more solo episodes with specific
Yeah,
information.
exactly.
So, I personally would love to know that because I know if I'm listening to 2 guys that maybe I don't have rapport with or haven't really listened to many episodes of, and 2 people are going off crazy tangents and actually not talking about specific information or specific things that maybe I wanna hear, I would tune myself out, and I don't want you to do that. So, I would love it if you comment on this episode and just tell us if you liked it, tell us if you like the bickering, tell us if you like the going off in tangents. So that's it. That's it. I'd love to know that information. What about Grant? What about you, Grant? Would you like to know that information or you just don't care?
I couldn't care less what people think.
God, that's hilarious. I care.
Yeah,
I care about what you think. So let me know
yeah.
if you like the going off in tangents and the bickering back and forth. I like the bickering back and forth, but I don't know if you actually like the going off in tangents. So yeah. Thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you guys next time.